Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtiprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 7, Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. Text number 44 onwards. Tapyante lok tapena sadva prayasho janaha paramaradhanam tadhi purushyasyaakhilatmanaha. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Here is an explanation of how those engaged in activities for the welfare of others are very quickly recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Yedam paramam guyam madbhaktesha vidhasyati. One who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me. No one can excel him in satisfying me by worship. There are different kinds of welfare activities in this material world, but the supreme welfare activity is a spreading of Krishna consciousness. Other welfare activities cannot be effective, for the laws of nature and the results of karma cannot be checked. It is by destiny or the laws of nature, laws of karma, that one must suffer or enjoy. For instance, if one is given a court order, he must accept it, whether it brings suffering or profit. Similarly, everyone is under obligations to karma and its reactions. No one can change it. Therefore, the Shastra says, Tasyeva hetu priyate kovido. One should endeavor for that which is never obtained by wandering up and down the universe as a result of the reactions of karma. And what is that? One should endeavor to become Krishna conscious. If one tries to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, he should be understood to be performing the best welfare activity. So Lord Shiva, he's speaking with, this is Shukdev Goswami speaking, and he's saying the great personalities always accept voluntary suffering. Why? Because they cannot see people suffering, people in general who are suffering, and they want to give them the right path, right knowledge. And here Lord Shiva saw the suffering of the whole universe because of that poison. And the poison wasn't a little bit amount, it was an ocean of poison. And since he drank it, this is considered, Shukdev Goswami says, this is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Means this is the highest method of pleasing him. And Prabhupada says that the real way of removing somebody's suffering is to bring them to Krishna consciousness. And then Krishna consciousness, and the person who's preaching, trying to bring people to Krishna consciousness. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, so that is the most dear person to the Lord. Because if somehow or other somebody becomes Krishna conscious, means his next birth is over. That's it. This is his last birth. Means all the sufferings for that soul are gone forever. That's it, eternally. Other way of helping people by doing charity or by opening hospitals, feeding them, that removes suffering, but that's just for a while. It doesn't remove the cause for the suffering, which is the material body. So if we can do both hand in hand, that's the best type of service. If one has been recognized by the Lord, even if he does not ask the Lord for anything, the Lord who is within everyone supplies him with whatever he wants. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Again, as stated here, tapyante lok tapena sadhva prayashojana. The best welfare activity is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since the conditioned souls are suffering only for want of Krishna consciousness, the Lord himself also comes to mitigate the suffering of humanity. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharat and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I advent myself millennium after millennium. All the Shastras conclude, therefore, that spreading the Krishna consciousness movement is the best welfare activity in the world. Because of the ultimate benefit this bestows on people in general, the Lord very quickly recognizes such service performed by a devotee. And this is the best service we can do. Preach, 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 preach. Somehow or other, bring people to the service of Krishna. Nishamya karma tacham bhor deva devasya meelusha praja dakshayani brahma vakunthascha shansire. Upon hearing of this act, everyone, including Bhavani, the daughter of Maharaj Daksha, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and the people in general were very highly praised this deed performed by Lord Shiva, who is worshipped by the demigods and who bestows benedictions upon the people. Prasakannam pibatah paner yat kinchit jagruhu smatat vrishchikahi vishoshadhyo dandashukashchaye pare. Scorpions, cobras, poisonous drugs, and other animals whose bites are poisonous took the opportunity to drink whatever little poison had fallen and scattered from Lord Shiva's hand while he was drinking. So mosquitoes, jackals, dogs, and other varieties of dandashuka, or animals whose bites are poisonous, drank the poison of the Samudra Manthan, the churned ocean, since it was available after it fell from the palms of Lord Shiva. And that is why they are all these entities are very, very poisonous. So thus ends the 7th chapter, 8th canto. Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. So we'll start the next chapter, 8th chapter, the churning of the milk ocean. So still the churning will go on because they were waiting for the nectar. Shri Shukuvacha Pite Gare Virishankena Pritaste Amaradanvaha Mamanthus Tarasa Sindhum Haviradhani Tato Bhavat. Shukdev Goswami continued, upon Lord Shiva's drinking this poison, both the demigods and the demons, being very pleased, began to churn the ocean with renewed vigor. As a result of this, there appeared a cow known as Surabhi. So now they got more strength and more energy because Lord Shiva had taken care of the poison. And now they were like, yes, now we'll get the nectar soon. The Surabhi cow is described as Haviradhani, the source of butter. Butter, when clarified by melting, produces ghee or clarified butter, which is inevitably necessary for performing great ritualistic sacrifices. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yajna Dana Tapa Karma Na Tyajyam Karyam Eva Tat. Sacrifice, charity, and austerity, so Yajna Dan Tapa should never be given up, are essential to keep human society perfect in peace and prosperity. Yajna, the performance of sacrifice, is essential to perform yajna. Clarified butter or ghee is absolutely necessary, and to get clarified butter, milk is necessary. Milk is produced when there are sufficient cows. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, cow protection is recommended. So after poison, Surabhi cow came out. Tamagani hotrim rishyo jagruhur brahmavadina yagyasya devayanasya medhyaya havishe nripa. O King Parikshit, great sages who were completely aware of the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies took charge of that Surabhi cow, which produced all the yogurt, milk, and ghee absolutely necessary for offering oblations into the fire. They did this just for the sake of pure ghee, which they wanted for the performance of sacrifices, to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems, up to Brahmaloka. Surabhi cows are generally found on the Vaikuntha planets. As described in Brahma Samhita, Lord Krishna on his planet Golok Vrindavan engages in tending the Surabhi cows, Surabhi Ravipalayantam. These cows are the Lord's pet animals. From the Surabhi cows, one can take as much milk as one needs, and one may milk these cows as many times as it desires. In other words, a Surabhi cow can yield milk unlimitedly. Milk is necessary for the performance of yajna. Sages know how to use milk to elevate human society to the perfection of life. Since cow protection is recommended everywhere in the Shastras, the Brahmavadis took charge of the Surabhi cow, in which the demons were not very interested. So demons are not interested. Who's going to take out the milk and make ghee or butter and yogurt? Who cares? Let's eat meat and drink wine. That's what we want. So the sages, they took Surabhi cow, and as Shukdev Goswami said, they wanted to perform sacrifices, but their aim was themselves go to the higher planetary systems, up to Brahmaloka. So means they were not pure devotees. They were Mishrit, Karma Mishrit. But anyway, so they wanted Surabhi cow, so they got the Surabhi cow. Tat Uchcha Shrava Nama Hayo Abhu Chandra Panduraha Tasmin Bali Spriham Chakre Na Indra Ishvara Shikshaya. Thereafter, a horse named Uchcheshrava, which was as white as the moon, was generated. Bali Maharaj desired to possess this horse, and Indra, the king of heaven, did not protest, for he had previously been so advised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Bali Maharaj was the king of demons, and Indra is the king of demigods. So first thing, after Surabhi cow, this beautiful white horse, Uchcheshrava, was produced by Bali Maharaj. He took care of that horse. And as we know, the Supreme Lord had told the demigods, so don't be greedy. You will get the nectar, and don't be greedy for whatever else come out. So Indra did not protest. He did not say, no, I need the horse, and they would have started fighting right there, and no nectar. Tateravato nama varanendro vinirgataha dantesh chaturbhi shvetadrer haren bhagvato mahim. Haran bhagvato mahim. As a next result of the churning, the king of elephants named Airavat was generated. This elephant was white, and with its 4 tusks, it defined the glories of Kailash mountain, the glorious abode of Lord Shiva. And with its 4 tusks, it defied the glories. Okay. So now a white elephant appeared, Airavat, and he had 4 tusks. Airavanadhyastvashto diggaja abhavanstataha abhram uprabhrityoshto cha karnisyastva bhavan ripa. Thereafter, O king, 8 great elephants, which could go in any direction, were generated. They were headed by Airavana. So that was another elephant, Airavana. 8 she elephants, headed by Abhramu, were also generated. Although it's not mentioned here, but Eravat, after Bali Maharaj took Uchashrava, the horse, then it was Indra's turn, so he took Eravat. So the names of the great 8 elephants were Eravan, Pundarik, Vaman, Kumud, Anjan, Pushpadanta, Sarvabhauma, and Supratika. Okay, still the churning was going on. Kostubakhyam abhudaratnam padmarago mahodadhe tasmin mano spriham chakre vaksho alankarane harihi tato abhavat parijata surloka vibhushanam puryati arthino yoartha shashwat bhuyatha bhavan. Generated thereafter from the great ocean were the celebrated gems Kaustubmani and Padmaragmani. Lord Vishnu, to decorate his chest, desired to possess them. Generated next was the Parijat flower, which decorates the celestial planets. O king, as you fulfill the desires of everyone on this planet by fulfilling all ambitions, the Parijat fulfills the desires of everyone. So it's like a desire tree. So Lord Vishnu took Kaustubmani and the Padmaragmani and the Parijat flower decorates the celestial plants. So we'll see mostly the things actually go to demigods, not to demons. Although they also work very hard. Tataschapsarasujata nishkakantaya suvasasaha ramanya swarginam valgu gati leelavalokana. Next, there appeared the Apsaras, who were used as prostitutes on the heavenly planets. They were fully decorated with golden ornaments and lockets and were dressed in fine and attractive clothing. The Apsaras move very slowly in an attractive style that bewilders the inhabitants of the heavenly planets. Tatascha virbhuta sakshat Sri Rama Bhagavatpara Rajayanti Disha Kantya Vidyut Sodamani Yatha. So see, the Apsaras also went to the heavenly planets, and now came Rama or Lakshmi. Then there appeared the goddess of fortune, Rama, who is absolutely dedicated to being enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She appeared like electricity, surpassing the lightning that might illuminate a marble mountain. So that's how effulgent she was. Shri means opulence. Krishna is the owner of all opulence. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. This peace formula for the world is given in Bhagavad Gita 5:29. When people know that the Supreme Lord Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the most intimate, well-wishing friend of all living entities, peace and prosperity will ensue all over the world. Unfortunately, the conditioned souls, being placed into illusion by the external energy of the Lord, want to fight with one another, and therefore peace is disturbed. So what do? We think we are the controllers or proprietors, so we want to just get more and more and more and more. And by hook or by crook and by politics or by leg pulling or whichever way more money comes, we'll take it. And that's where the problem is. And that's where the fights start. The first prerequisite for peace is that all the wealth presented by Shri, the goddess of fortune, be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone should give up his false proprietorship over worldly possessions and offer everything to Krishna. This is the teaching of the Krishna consciousness movement. So offer everything to Krishna. Give up the false proprietorship over worldly possessions. So once Prabhupada was visiting one Indian family, and Prabhupada was speaking on this verse. I think this verse, maybe some other, I don't know. But the point Prabhupada was making that everybody should give charity for Krishna consciousness movement, for the propagation. And the man, he said, "Oh, Swamiji, I give 100% of my income to Krishna." And Prabhupada, "How do you do 100%? How do you live? How do you survive then?" Oh, he said, "Swamiji, it's very easy actually." He said, "Whenever I get the paycheck, and we have a temple in our house, so I take the paycheck and give it to Thakurji, and then offer it, and then I just pick it up and then deposit in the bank. So everything belongs to Thakurji." So obviously he was using everything for himself. But in the beginning, at least he offered it to Thakurji. But that's not the point. So offer everything to Krishna means we need money for our household expenses. Obviously, we need money for emergencies. We need money to save for the future as well. But point is, we should become Krishna conscious first. And then when we are Krishna conscious and using everything in the service of Krishna, even our heart, our mind, our body, and everything, then obviously our needs will be very little, and we should donate some money for the propagation. That is most important thing, the preaching work. Howsoever, that's everybody can decide on their own how to do this. But everybody should. Tasyam chakrus priham sarve sasura manava rupo dharya vayo varnam mahima kshipta chetasaha. Because of her exquisite beauty, her bodily features, her youth, her complexion, and her glories, everyone, including the demigods, the demons, and the human beings, desired her. They were attracted because she is the source of all opulences. So that is somebody nobody wants to mess up with, is Lakshmi ji. She's the source of all opulences. Everybody is looking to get her mercy, the benediction, that Ma Lakshmi, just be here, that's all. Who in this world does not want to possess wealth, beauty, and the social respectability that come from these opulences? People generally desire material enjoyment, material opulence, and the association of aristocratic family members. Material enjoyment entails money, beauty, and the reputation they bring, which can all be achieved by the mercy of the goddess of fortune. The goddess of fortune, however, never remains alone. As indicated in the previous verse by the word Bhagvat Para, she is a property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is enjoyable only by him. If one wants the favor of the goddess of fortune, Mother Lakshmi, because she is by nature Bhagvat Para, one must keep her with Narayan. The devotees who always engage in the service of Narayan Parayan, can easily achieve the favor of the goddess of fortune without a doubt. But materialists who try to get the favor of the goddess of fortune only to possess her for personal enjoyment are frustrated. Theirs is not a good policy. The celebrated demon Ravan, for example, wanted to deprive Ramchandra of Lakshmi, Sita, and thus be victorious, but the result was just the opposite. Sita, of course, was taken by force by Lord Ramachandra, and Ravan and his entire material empire were vanquished. The goddess of fortune is desirable for everyone, including human beings, but one should understand that the goddess of fortune is the exclusive property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot achieve the mercy of the goddess of fortune unless one prays both to her and to the Supreme Enjoyer, the personality of Godhead. So, but come Diwali time, everybody has puja at home and we worship Saraswati, Lakshmi and Ganeshi. So where is Vishnu? Where is Narayan? Without Narayan, our attempt to please Lakshmi ji or get her blessings is just like Ravan did. So Ravan kidnapped Sita, or goddess of fortune, but he didn't want to serve Ram. He just wanted to enjoy Sita, or original goddess of fortune. And that's where Prabhupada, his whole material empire was vanquished. So the real way of getting her mercy, getting her blessings, is to serve Vishnu, Krishna, because she's always with her husband, always. And if we worship the husband, wife will definitely be pleased. We don't need to worship her separately, alone, no. And of course, her one name is Chanchala, means she doesn't stay at one place for too long. But if we worship Krishna or Vishnu, then she will stay in that place because her husband is there. She is not going to go away where her husband is staying. So very important. We should learn how to worship her, how to please her. And in Jagannath Puri, we all know Lakshmi ji has her own temple, and we have seen during Rath Yatra how she even doesn't allow Jagannath to come back in. She was upset. And when Jagannath ji had to offer her Rasgulla, and then she allowed him to come back. But that is a beautiful pastime, loving pastime. But in Jagannath Puri, it is a saying that every Thursday is a day of Lakshmi ji. So she comes out and she goes all over Jagannath Puri to bestow her blessings on Lord Jagannath's devotees. So one thing they all say, so do not leave Jagannath Puri on Thursday. Either leave on Wednesday or leave on Friday. That is because Lakshmi ji is going to come out and they don't want us to miss out on the blessings. So anyway, beautiful pastime going on of churning of ocean, and more stories and more such things are going to come out, and that we can read tomorrow. So we'll stop this. Anybody has any questions or comments?
हरे कृष्णा, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा, दंडवत प्रणाम।
राधाष्टमी का फास्ट प्रभु जी कल रखना है या आज रखना होता है?
आई थिंक इंडिया में 14th को है, ट्यूसडे को है।
ओके, ठीक है प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण। Okay, so you all have a safe, wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.